I'm Antonia Mercorella, CEO of the Real Estate Institute of Queensland, or the REIQ. When we think about selling our home, price is always important, but of course, selling can be a very emotional and difficult time. So whilst it's important to choose a real estate professional who can provide great, accurate and professional advice, you'll also want to choose someone who understands the emotion involved and someone who you can trust to guide you through that process. The role of a real estate professional in a sales transaction is quite varied. Of course, there's the pre-listing steps, and that involves taking great photographs and videos of your property and giving you information about how to present your property in the best way so that you can achieve a maximum price. And then, of course, there's holding open inspections. This is an important stage in the sales process. This is where the real estate agent will speak with interested parties, and often the negotiation commences at this stage. And of course, a real estate professional will also be responsible for facilitating the contractual process, which is a very important one. And again, you want to look for someone with the right level of expertise. And finally, the real estate professional will guide you through the process from contract stage all the way through until the property settles. There's really not a one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to choosing the right real estate professional. It's important that you look for someone who will have the skill and expertise to sell a property in your suburb. Make sure you do some research to find out who the right person is. What we would strongly recommend is that you attend some for sale properties and auctions in your neighbourhood and simply chat to a range of real estate professionals to see who you feel comfortable with. In today's digital world, it's very easy for you to look at real estate professionals who have a good, strong sales history. Go to one of the leading property portals and check the sold section, and that will tell you who is very active in the suburb you are selling in. And of course, word of mouth is very important when it comes to choosing the right real estate professional. So have a chat to your family and friends about who they've used or others that they might know and whether they've had a positive experience. This is a really great starting point. It's always a good idea to look for a real estate professional with local expertise. To find out who is active in your neighbourhood, it's quite easy to do so simply by looking around at the for sale signs and looking for those important sold stickers over the top. There are some costs associated with selling your home. Firstly, there's the agent's commission. That fee can vary from somewhere between 1.5% of the sale price up to 3.5%, but there's no hard and fast rules, so feel free to ask questions and feel free to negotiate. Then there are marketing expenses associated with selling. Whilst it might be tempting to limit how much you spend, it is important to understand that marketing dollars make such a key difference because it's about exposing your property to as many people as possible. So it does pay to invest in things like a signboard, advertising, both digital and print media, and of course your real estate professional will be able to give you good guidance on where your money is best spent. It's important to present your property in the best possible way to attract as many buyers as possible. Now, getting your property ready for sale doesn't need to cost the world. There are little things you can do that make such a big difference. Real estate agents may also talk to you about home staging, sometimes referred to as home styling. This can be an incredibly important investment to make, and it can really deliver a good return on investment. It's important to understand that this will involve some extra dollars, but it can make such a big difference to the final result. Now, this need not mean having to get rid of all of your furniture, but rather looking for ways to add some new key pieces of furniture, perhaps some new modern ornaments and a few knickknacks here and there. And of course, this can make such a difference to the look and feel of the home, modernising it and appealing to a broader range of people. So as always, whilst we want to minimise our costs and expenses, it's important to understand that by investing in the right areas, you can make a big difference to the final sale price that you achieve for your property. Take a look at your walls. Is it time to give them a fresh lick of paint? That's always a great way of freshening up the look of the property. Similarly, there might be some rooms that need new carpet. And of course, when it comes to the kitchen and bathroom, these can be expensive areas. So you don't need to worry about a full-blown renovation, but simply putting some new door handles on the kitchen, or perhaps even some new bench tops, and in the bathroom, a nice new modern mirror. These are things that don't cost much, but make such an important difference. And the outside of the property is also very important. You want to be sure that when people are driving by, the property looks beautiful and it has great street appeal. The simple way to achieve this is make sure that the lawns are neat and tidy, that there are no weeds, and you might also want to consider some new plants in both the front yard and the backyard. In addition to talking to your real estate professional about how to stage your home, it's also important that you consider decluttering the property before putting it on the market. Now, of course, this is an incredibly emotional process. We've gathered so many important and sentimental possessions, photographs of our family members, and objects that mean so much to you. It can be very difficult to remove these items, even temporarily. If this process feels a little bit too overwhelming, it's always a good idea to ask for some professional help. There are specialists out there who can help you to declutter your home, and of course can help to pack away those possessions securely for when you next want to bring them into your new property. When it comes time to selling your property, there are a variety of methods to choose from. Most commonly, these include private treaty, auction, or expressions of interest. Now, there's not one size fits all, and there's not a right or a wrong answer. It's important that you speak to your real estate professional about the different methods and their key differences, and ask them for their professional advice of the best one to select. The auction method is well understood. We've all seen auctions happening in our street or on the television screen. And when we choose this method of sale, we won't put a price on the property, and effectively you are allowing the world at large to choose the right price to pay for that property. An auction method can be an excellent way of achieving a top price for your property. An auction method works particularly well in a competitive landscape where buyer demand is very strong and listings are quite limited. Meanwhile, a private treaty sale simply involves putting the property out for sale and putting a price on that property, or a range. That can make people feel quite comfortable because they know what your price expectations are. Having said that, you can ask the real estate agent to not put a price on that property if you prefer. And finally, an expression of interest campaign involves putting a deadline and inviting offers from the community at large. And that works similarly to an auction campaign, but the difference is that the process happens behind the scene rather than in a public forum the way that an auction process works. We've spent some time talking about the importance of choosing the right real estate professional, but of course it's also important to choose a solicitor. A solicitor will guide you through the contractual process from the time that the contract has been completed through to settlement. There can be various steps involved in that process, particularly where the contract is subject to certain conditions. And so your solicitor can give you guidance and walk you through that process, and ultimately it's really important that you have a professional taking you on this journey, because do-it-yourself conveyancing can be highly risky. Depending on which state or territory you live in, average settlement periods can vary. It's important that you speak to your real estate professional about the settlement period that will suit you. If you need more time and more flexibility, a real estate professional can organise to have a special condition inserted into your contract that gives you the flexibility and ensures that the purchaser is prepared to meet those special requirements. When selling your property, it's important that you take into consideration market conditions. Now, of course, these can fluctuate a lot over the year. So speak to your real estate professional about what's happening in your state or territory, but more importantly, what's happening in your suburb. Your real estate professional will be able to give you some data on average days on market. This simply means the average length of time it takes to sell a property from the date of listing. There's other important factors to take into account too. How strong is buyer demand in your area? And of course, how important is it to sell quickly? All of these things are important things to consider, and a good real estate professional will be able to give you the guidance and advice that you need. Although there are a range of factors to consider when selecting a real estate professional, it is important to follow your gut instinct. You'll know when you find that real estate professional who makes you feel comfortable and you feel that you can ask a range of questions to without judgment. So follow your heart and choose that real estate professional that you feel most comfortable with.